Okay, so this time we're taking a deep dive into large language models, LLMs, and Python.
Sounds exciting.
It is. And we've got a whole stack of material here, but we're focusing mainly on excerpts from a book called Building LLM Applications with Python.
Okay.
And from what I've seen, it's a very practical guide. So we're not just going to explore what these LLMs are, but how they're actually being used
Right.
and why Python is like everyone's go-to language for building with them.
Okay.
So are you ready to uncover some real-world examples?
I know I am.
Let's dive in.
All right, so first things first, I think we need to define what LLMs even are.
Yeah, sure.
I'm picturing like a supercomputer that's basically absorbed all of human knowledge, kind of like that scene in The Matrix where Neo downloads kung fu directly into his brain,
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that. LLMs are trained on massive data sets, think books, articles, code, pretty much all the text you can imagine.
And this training allows them to understand and generate human language in ways we haven't seen before. So they can write different kinds of creative content, translate languages, answer your questions. Really, the possibilities are pretty vast.
So it's almost like having a digital Shakespeare, a robot translator, and a walking encyclopedia all rolled into one.
I mean, that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the ability to process information and identify patterns in language,
Yeah.
just like our brains do,
Yeah.
but on a scale we can't even comprehend.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just about memorizing facts, but it's actually like understanding the nuances of language.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where the different types of LLMs come in.
Okay.
So the book specifically mentions machine translation,
Yeah.
like, the technology behind Google Translate.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you have chatbots, which you encounter all over the web, and even creative writing. Who knows? Maybe the next bestseller will be penned by an algorithm.
Whoa, a robot novelist. That's a
Yeah,
thought-provoking idea.
it is.
Okay, so we've got a sense of what LLMs are. But why is Python always part of the equation?
Yeah.
I know it's a popular programming language, but what makes it so special for building LLM applications?
Well, Python is incredibly user-friendly, even for beginners,
Mm.
which makes it a great entry point for working with LLMs.
Yeah.
But its real strength lies in its data science and machine learning capabilities.
Okay.
And remember, LLMs are trained on massive data sets, and Python has a whole ecosystem of tools for managing and processing that kind of data.
So it's like having the perfect set of tools
It is.
for building and fine-tuning these powerful language models.
You could say that,
Yeah.
and there are specific libraries in Python like Transformers and Hugging Face Hub that make it even easier to build and interact with LLMs.
Oh, okay.
They're like prefabricated building blocks that simplify the whole process.
I like the sound of that. Building blocks for AI.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say I want to use Python to build an LLM application. Where do I even begin? What's step one?
Well, the book uses the example of working with OpenAI's GPT-3, which is a very popular and powerful LLM.
Okay.
And the first step would be setting up your Python environment.
So we're talking about creating like a dedicated space on my computer where all the magic happens.
It's more like assembling your toolkit.
Okay.
You'd need to install those libraries we talked about, like Transformers and Hugging Face Hub, to enable communication with GPT-3.
Yeah,
It's like laying the foundation for your LLM application.
got it. Tools in place, ready to build.
Yeah.
Then what?
Well, you'll need to authenticate your access to GPT-3's API, which is essentially a way for your program to interact with their model.
Uh-huh.
Think of it as getting a backstage pass to work with this powerful AI.
Yeah, security is key. Can't have just anyone tinkering with such advanced technology.
Exactly.
Okay, so I've got my tool set up, I've got my authorization. How do I actually start working with GPT-3? Like, how do I tell it what to do?
That's where prompts come into play.
Prompts.
A prompt is basically an instruction you give to the LLM, and
Oh.
it's how you tell it what you want it to do.
So if I'm stuck on a writing project, I could give GPT-3 a prompt to help me brainstorm ideas.
Exactly. The book gives that very example.
Wow.
You can give it a prompt like, I'm writing a sci-fi story about a robot detective. Give me some ideas for a captivating mystery.
Oh, cool.
And it would generate potential plot points or scenarios based on its training data.
I'm starting to see how this could be incredibly useful, not just for writers, but for anyone who needs to generate ideas or solve creative problems.
Exactly.
Wow.
And there's a real art to crafting effective prompts. You can't just throw any random sentence at it
Yeah.
and expect brilliant results.
Right.
Prompts need to be clear, concise, and specific to guide the LLM towards the desired outcome.
Right. Like giving someone directions The clearer and more specific you are, the better the results.
Exactly. It's about understanding how to communicate effectively with these powerful language models.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, fascinating stuff.
it is. Welcome back to our deep dive into LLMs.
Thinking about those prompts got me wondering,
Yeah,
what happens when you need an LLM to do something more complex than just generating text? Like, can you train them to specialize in a particular area?
absolutely. That's what we call fine-tuning.
Okay.
And it's a powerful technique for tailoring an LLM to a specific task or domain.
So we touched on this briefly earlier,
We
but
did.
this source material actually goes into some pretty advanced techniques for achieving this.
It does.
All right, so let's get technical.
Sure.
What kind of techniques are we talking about here?
But one fascinating approach uses something called reinforcement learning, or RL.
RL.
Mm.
Okay, that rings a bell. I think I came across that in one of those research papers you sent over.
That's right. RL is a whole field within machine learning, and it's proving to be incredibly useful for fine-tuning LLMs.
So I'm trying to picture how RL fits into this whole LLM picture.
Yeah.
We talked about LLMs being trained on massive data sets, but how does RL change that process?
Right. So think about the way traditional LLM training works. It's all about predicting the next word in a sequence.
Okay.
Based on the patterns it's learned from the data,
Yeah.
it's like a really advanced autocomplete feature.
Right, like a super-powered version of what we have on our phones.
Yeah, exactly.
So how is RL different?
With RL, you're not just trying to predict the next word. You're actually teaching the LLM to achieve a specific goal, to optimize its output for a desired outcome.
Oh,
It's about being more strategic with the LLM's output.
so instead of just generating any old text, it's generating text that's tailored for a specific purpose.
Exactly. And this is particularly useful for tasks like conversation generation or writing code,
Yeah.
where you need the LLM to be more goal-oriented and follow specific rules or guidelines.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you actually use RL with LLMs?
Right.
It sounds pretty complicated to implement.
It can be, but there are some amazing Python tools and libraries that simplify the process.
Okay.
One popular approach is called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF for short.
RLHF, so it sounds like humans are actually involved in the training process.
You got it. RLHF uses feedback from humans to guide the LLM towards generating outputs that meet our expectations and preferences.
Oh, interesting.
It's like having a teacher or a coach helping the LLM improve its skills.
So instead of just crunching data, the LLM is getting feedback from real people, which helps it to generate more human-like output.
Precisely. And here's the really interesting part. You can actually train a separate model
Oh, wow.
called a reward model to predict what kind of feedback a human would give.
Whoa, hold on. A model that can predict human feedback. That's mind-boggling.
It's pretty remarkable. This reward model essentially acts as the LLM's coach,
Okay.
telling it which outputs are more likely to be considered good by humans.
That's a brilliant way to put it. So the reward model is like the LLM's personal trainer,
Exactly.
helping it to get better and better at its task.
That's right.
Okay, this is blowing my mind, but I have to ask, RLHF sounds incredibly powerful.
It is.
But is it enough to address some of those inherent challenges with LLMs, like bias?
That's an important question.
Yeah.
RLHF isn't a magic bullet, but it can definitely help. By incorporating feedback from a diverse group of people, you can nudge the LLM towards generating outputs that are more fair and inclusive, and avoid reinforcing existing biases.
So it's all about ensuring that the human feedback is representative of the real world.
Exactly. The more diverse and balanced your feedback is, the less likely the LLM is to perpetuate harmful stereotypes or biases. It's a continuous process of refinement and improvement.
Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of how powerful and nuanced this whole fine-tuning process is.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, are there other advanced techniques out there for tailoring LLMs to specific needs?
Definitely. The source material delves into a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
Domain-specific LLM applications.
Domain-specific. Does that mean creating LLMs that are specialized for certain fields, like medicine or law?
Precisely. Remember how we talked about fine-tuning an LLM to make it more specialized? Domain adaptation takes that a step further. It's about immersing the LLM in the language, knowledge, and nuances of a specific field, almost like giving it a PhD in that area.
So instead of just being a general-purpose language whiz, the LLM becomes an expert in, say, medical diagnosis or legal contract analysis.
Exactly. By training an LLM on specialized data sets and incorporating domain-specific knowledge, you can create incredibly powerful tools that can assist professionals in all sorts of fields.
Okay, help me visualize this. What does building a domain-specific LLM application actually look like?
Well, it all starts with the data.
Okay.
You need a high-quality data set that's representative of the domain you're targeting. So for a medical LLM, you might use a data set of medical journals, clinical trials, and patient records.
So you're essentially giving the LLM a crash course in medicine using real-world data.
That's right. And the more data you have, the better. Remember, these LLMs thrive on vast amounts of information.
Right, right. But it's not just about feeding the LLM a bunch of data, right? There must be more to it than that.
You're absolutely right. Domain adaptation often involves a whole toolkit of techniques, including fine-tuning, knowledge graph integration, and even custom model architectures.
Okay, hold on. Knowledge graphs. That sounds like we're venturing into some serious AI territory now.
Knowledge graphs are essentially structured databases that represent knowledge in a way that machines can easily understand.
Okay,
They're like a cheat sheet for the LLM,
okay.
providing it with contextual information about a specific domain.
So for a medical LLM, you might have a knowledge graph that links diseases, symptoms, treatments, that kind of thing.
Exactly. By incorporating that knowledge graph into the LLM's training process, you can significantly enhance its ability to understand and reason about medical concepts. It's like giving it a specialized medical dictionary.
This is incredible. It's like building a digital brain that's wired for a specific purpose.
That's a great way to put it. But as you can imagine, there are also unique challenges that come with building domain-specific LLM applications.
Like what? What are some of the things you need to watch out for?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is ensuring accuracy and reliability, especially in fields like healthcare or law, where the stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah, I can see how that would be paramount. You wouldn't want an LLM making medical diagnoses or legal judgments based on incomplete or inaccurate information.
Exactly. Rigorous evaluation and testing are absolutely essential for these types of applications.
Okay.
You need to make sure the LLM is performing at a level that meets the rigorous standards of the field.
So it's all about making sure that the LLM is a trustworthy and reliable tool, not just a clever language generator.
Precisely. Domain adaptation is about more than just making LLMs smart. It's about making them truly useful and responsible in real-world settings.
This whole domain-specific approach is fascinating, but I'm realizing we've been mostly talking about text-based data. What about other forms of data, like images or audio? Can LLMs handle those too?
That's a great question, and it leads us to a really exciting area: multimodal LLM applications.
Multimodal. So we're talking about LLMs that can work with multiple types of data, not just text.
Exactly. Imagine an LLM that can understand and generate not just text, but also images, audio, video, even data from sensors. That's the whole idea behind multimodal AI.
Whoa, that's next level. It's already hard enough wrapping my head around text-based LLMs, and now we're adding images and audio into the mix.
It's a rapidly evolving field,
Yeah.
and it's opening up all sorts of incredible possibilities for LLM applications.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. Give me some examples. What kind of amazing things can these multimodal LLMs do?
Well, one obvious application is in image captioning.
Okay.
Imagine an LLM that can look at an image, even a complex one with multiple objects and actions, and generate an accurate description of what's happening.
That would be incredible. It's like giving a voice to images.
Exactly.
Wow.
And think about video summarization. Imagine an LLM that can watch a long video and generate a concise and accurate summary of the key events and themes.
Okay, I officially need that in my life.
Right.
No more wasting hours watching boring videos or trying to find the good parts.
I hear you.
And those are just a couple of examples.
Yeah,
The potential applications go way beyond that.
they do.
Multimodal LLMs could revolutionize fields like healthcare, where they could analyze medical images and generate reports or even assist in surgeries.
That's right.
Now, that's truly mind-blowing. I'm starting to see how multimodal LLMs could change the way we interact with the world around us.
Yeah.
Not just with text, but with all sorts of sensory information.
It's about breaking down the barriers between different types of data, allowing machines to process information in a way that's closer to how our own brains work.
This is all so inspiring, but I have to admit, it also sounds incredibly complex.
It can be.
Building multimodal LLM applications must require some serious technical expertise.
It can be. But as with other areas of LLM development, there are tools and frameworks available that make it more accessible.
Okay.
One key element is using models that are specifically designed for multimodal data processing.
So instead of using a traditional text-based LLM, I'd need a model that's capable of understanding both text and images.
That's right. There are models like OpenAI's CLP and Google's A-Line-G that are specifically trained to understand the relationships between text and images.
Okay.
And they can be used to create embeddings, which are basically numerical representations of data that capture both the visual and textual information.
Embeddings. Okay, I think we touched on those earlier when we were talking about text data.
Exactly.
Okay.
Embeddings are a powerful way to represent data in a form that machines can understand.
Yeah.
And in the context of multimodal LLMs, they allow you to combine text and image data in a way that preserves the meaning and context of both.
So instead of treating text and images as separate entities, you're finding a way to translate them both into a common language that the LLM can understand.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
It's like finding a universal translator for different types of data.
Okay, I'm starting to get a glimpse of how this works.
Good.
So by using multimodal models and embeddings, you can create LLMs that can truly understand and interact with both text and images.
Exactly. And once you have those embeddings, you can use them for all sorts of amazing things like image captioning, cross-modal retrieval, and even generating outputs that combine both text and images.
Hold on, cross-modal retrieval, that sounds like something out of Star Trek.
It might sound futuristic, but it's a real and incredibly useful technique.
Okay.
Cross-modal retrieval allows you to search for information across different modalities.
Oh, wow.
You can search for images using text queries, or vice versa.
So I could search for pictures of cats wearing hats, and the system would understand that I'm looking for images that match both the textual concept of cats and the visual concept of wearing hats.
That's right. And this is just one example of how multimodal LLMs can break down the traditional barriers between different types of data, allowing us to interact with information in entirely new ways.
This is mind-boggling stuff.
It is.
I can't even imagine what the future holds for this technology.
It's an incredibly exciting time to be working in this field.
Yeah.
But as we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible with multimodal LLMs,
Yeah.
it's important to remember those ethical considerations we talked about earlier.
You're right. We can't get so caught up in the technical advancements that we forget about the potential impact on society.
Exactly. All the things we discussed earlier, things like bias in training data and the potential for misuse, those concerns become even more crucial when you're dealing with multimodal LLMs.
It's a lot to think about,
It is.
but I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Me too.
It's clear that as LLMs become more powerful and sophisticated, the ethical considerations become even more important.
I couldn't agree more. It's our responsibility to ensure that this technology is used for good and that it benefits everyone.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
From advanced fine-tuning techniques to the mind-blowing possibilities of multimodal LLMs.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to know before we wrap up this part of our deep dive?
There's one more topic worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Real-time conversational AI systems.
Real-time conversational AI.
Yeah.
So we're talking about chatbots and virtual assistants that can hold natural, engaging conversations with humans.
Exactly. These systems are becoming increasingly sophisticated, and a lot of that progress is being driven by advancements in LLM technology.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are some of the key considerations when building real-time conversational AI systems?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is optimizing for speed and efficiency.
Okay.
Real-time conversations require fast inference, which means the LLM needs to be able to generate responses very quickly
Yeah.
without sacrificing accuracy or coherence.
So it's not just about making the LLM smart, it's about making it fast on its feet.
Precisely. It's like having a brilliant conversationalist who can also think and respond instantly.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So how do you achieve that kind of speed and responsiveness in an LLM?
Well, there are various techniques that developers use, like quantization and model pruning, which can help to reduce the size and complexity of the LLM without compromising its performance.
Quantization and model pruning, those sound like some serious technical optimization tricks.
They are. Quantization essentially involves reducing the precision of the numerical values used in the LLM's calculations.
Okay.
It's like slimming down the amount of information the LLM needs to process at any given moment.
Okay, so less data to crunch means faster responses.
Exactly.
What about model pruning? What does that involve?
Model pruning is about removing any unnecessary connections or parameters within the LLM structure.
Okay.
It's like streamlining its internal pathways to make it more efficient.
It's like you're giving the LLM a mental declutter, helping it to focus on what's truly essential.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
And these techniques are becoming increasingly important as we move towards deploying LLMs on edge devices.
Edge devices, so we're talking about running LLMs directly on things like smartphones and smart sensors.
That's right. Edge computing is about bringing computation closer to the source of data. And in the context of LLMs, this means running them directly on the devices where the conversations are happening.
That's incredible. What are the advantages of running LLMs on edge devices?
Well, there are several benefits. First, it reduces latency because the LLM doesn't have to send data back and forth to a central server for processing.
So faster response times, which is crucial for a seamless conversational experience.
Exactly. Second, it can enhance privacy because the data is processed locally on the device, reducing the risk of it being intercepted or misused.
So my conversations with the LLM are more secure and private because the data isn't traveling across the internet.
That's right. And third, it can enable offline functionality, which means the LLM can still work even when there's no internet connection.
Okay, that's a game changer. Imagine having an LLM-powered personal assistant that can work even when you're off the grid.
That's the future of conversational AI, and it's being made possible by these advancements in both LLM technology and edge computing.
This is all so mind-blowing.
It is.
It feels like we're on the verge of a whole new era of human-computer interaction,
Right.
where conversations with machines will become as natural and seamless as conversations with other people.
It's an incredibly exciting time to be working in this field.
Yeah.
But as we continue to push these boundaries,
Yeah.
it's crucial that we don't lose sight of the ethical considerations.
You're right. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of the technology, but we need to make sure it's developed and used responsibly.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
need to ensure that these conversational AI systems are designed in a way that's fair, inclusive, and beneficial to everyone.
Right.
We don't want to create systems that perpetuate existing biases or harm certain groups of people.
It's a complex challenge,
It is.
but it's one we need to face head on.
We do.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from advanced fine-tuning techniques to the exciting world of real-time conversational AI.
Yes, we have.
Is there anything else we need to know before we wrap up this part of our deep dive?
I think we've covered the most important aspects,
Okay.
but it's important to remember that this is a rapidly evolving field,
Right.
and there are always new advancements and discoveries being made.
I'm already feeling a bit overwhelmed by all the information we've covered today, but in a good way.
Yeah,
It's amazing to see how far this technology has come and how much potential it has.
I agree. It's an incredible time to be working in this field. Now, I'm curious, what stood out to you the most in all of this? What sparked your imagination?
Honestly, it's the sheer scope of what LLMs can do that's really hit me. From writing poems to summarizing videos to having lifelike conversations, it feels like there's no limit to what these models can achieve.
It is remarkable, and we've only just scratched the surface.
Wow.
As we move into the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll delve even deeper into the world of LLMs, exploring their impact on various industries and discussing how they're shaping the future.
I'm ready for more.
Good.
Let's dive back in.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of LLMs. It's been quite a journey so far.
My head is still spinning from all the possibilities we explored in the last part. It's amazing to see how LLMs are already being used in so many different ways, and the potential for future applications is truly mind-boggling.
I agree. But amidst all the excitement and potential, it's crucial that we don't lose sight of the ethical considerations surrounding this technology.
You're right. We need to make sure that LLMs are developed and used responsibly. What are some of the key challenges we should be aware of as these models become even more powerful and integrated into our lives?
One of the biggest challenges is what we call the black box problem. With many LLMs, it can be difficult to understand exactly how they arrive at their outputs. It's like they're making decisions behind a curtain, and we can't quite see the reasoning process.
So it's not always clear why an LLM generates a specific response or makes a certain prediction.
Exactly. It can feel like magic sometimes, but in reality, it's all based on complex mathematical calculations and patterns in the data.
But if we don't understand how LLMs are making decisions, how can we trust them? Especially in fields like healthcare or finance, where the stakes are so high.
That's a valid concern,
Yep.
and that's why there's a growing field of research focused on making LLMs more explainable.
Explainable LLMs, is that even possible? How do you make something that's essentially a giant mathematical model explain its reasoning?
It's definitely a challenging task, but researchers are making progress. They're developing techniques to visualize the LLM's decision-making process, identify the most influential factors in its outputs, and even generate natural language explanations for its predictions.
So it's like giving the LLM a voice so it can tell us, hey, I made this decision because of X, Y, and Z.
That's the goal. And it's crucial not just for building trust in LLM systems, but also for identifying and mitigating potential errors or biases. If we can understand why an LLM is making certain decisions, we're better equipped to spot any problems and correct them.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like having a transparent AI where we can peek behind the curtain and understand the reasoning behind its actions.
Exactly. Transparency is key to responsible AI development. It allows us to hold these systems accountable and ensure they're being used fairly and ethically.
So, explainability is one big challenge. What other ethical considerations should we be thinking about as LLMs become more prevalent in our lives?
Another concern is the potential for LLMs to be used to generate harmful or misleading content, like deepfakes or propaganda.
I've seen some pretty convincing deepfakes online. It's scary how easy it's becoming to create realistic but completely fabricated videos or audio recordings.
It's a growing concern. As LLMs become more sophisticated, it becomes easier for malicious actors to exploit them for nefarious purposes, and the potential consequences are significant.
So, what can we do to prevent LLMs from being weaponized in this way? Is there any way to stop the spread of misinformation and deepfakes?
It's a multifaceted challenge that requires a combination of technical solutions, ethical guidelines, and even legal frameworks.
That sounds like a tall order. Let's break it down. What kind of technical solutions are we talking about?
One approach is to develop methods for detecting and flagging synthetic content, like deepfakes. Researchers are working on algorithms that can analyze media for subtle artifacts or inconsistencies that indicate manipulation.
So, it's like having a digital detective that can spot the telltale signs of a fake.
Exactly. These algorithms can act as a first line of defense, helping to identify potentially harmful or misleading content before it spreads.
That's encouraging. But what about those cases where the deepfakes are so well made that they're almost indistinguishable from real content? Are there other ways to verify the authenticity of information?
Another approach is to develop watermarking or provenance tracking techniques. Think of it like embedding a digital signature into content that proves its origin and ensures that it hasn't been tampered with.
So it's like a digital chain of custody for information, ensuring its integrity from creation to consumption?
Exactly.
Mhm.
These techniques can provide a way to track the history of content and verify its authenticity even in the face of sophisticated manipulation.
That's reassuring. But it sounds like these technical solutions are only part of the puzzle. You mentioned something about ethical guidelines and legal frameworks. What role do they play in all of this?
Well, even with the best technical safeguards in place, we still need to address the human element. Developers need to be transparent about the capabilities and limitations of their LLM systems. Users need to be educated about the potential risks and how to critically evaluate information generated by LLMs.
So it's about promoting responsible AI development and encouraging users to be discerning consumers of information.
Absolutely. We need to move beyond the hype and recognize that LLMs are tools, and like any tool, they can be used for good or for ill. It's our responsibility to guide their development and use in a way that benefits society as a whole.
I completely agree. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how we choose to use it and the values we embed in its development.
And that brings us to the legal frameworks. As LLMs become more integrated into our lives, we need to consider how existing laws and regulations apply to their use. And in some cases, we may need to develop new laws, specifically to address the unique challenges posed by this technology.
It sounds like a complex and evolving landscape, but it's one we need to navigate carefully. We can't afford to be complacent when it comes to the ethical and societal implications of such powerful technology.
You're absolutely right. The stakes are high, and we need to be thoughtful and proactive in our approach to ensuring that LMs are used responsibly for the benefit of all.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the challenges and concerns surrounding LLMs. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to come back to the positive side of things. What are some of the most exciting and promising aspects of this technology?
One area that holds immense potential is the ability of LLMs to democratize access to information and knowledge.
Democratize knowledge. How so?
Imagine a world where anyone, regardless of their language, location, or socioeconomic background, can access personalized education, expert advice, and even creative tools, all powered by LLMs.
That's a powerful vision. It's like putting the world's knowledge at everyone's fingertips.
Exactly. LLMs have the potential to break down traditional barriers to education, healthcare, and economic opportunity. They can empower individuals and communities in unprecedented ways.
I can see how LLMs could be used to create personalized learning experiences, provide medical diagnoses in remote areas, or even help people start their own businesses. The possibilities are truly vast.
And those are just a few examples. As LLM technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative and transformative applications emerge in every aspect of our lives.
This is all so incredibly inspiring. It feels like we're on the cusp of a technological revolution that could fundamentally change the way we live, work, and interact with the world.
I agree. LLMs represent a profound leap forward in artificial intelligence. And if we can harness their power responsibly, they have the potential to create a more equitable, just, and prosperous world for all.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our LLM deep dive, and what a journey it's been. We've gone from understanding the basics to exploring the cutting edge, delving into the technical intricacies, and grappling with the ethical complexities.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope you come away with a deeper understanding of this incredible technology and its potential to reshape our world.
I know I have. It's clear that LLMs are much more than just a technological novelty. They're a powerful force that can shape our future in profound ways. And it's up to us to guide their development and use in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I couldn't agree more. The future of LLMs is in our hands. It's a responsibility we should all take seriously.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. A huge thank you to you, our resident LLM expert, for guiding us through this incredible deep dive.
It's been my pleasure. And thank you to you, our intrepid host, for asking all the right questions and keeping things engaging.
And of course, a big thank you to you, dear listener, for joining us on this adventure. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of LLMs with us. Now it's your turn to keep diving deep and stay curious. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next groundbreaking LLM application.
The possibilities are endless. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.